Hello and welcome to Newsfeed on Trust TV. I am Sumaya Abubakar, taking you through the stories trending online that people are talking about and sharing around the globe today. I feel your pains on subsidy removal, President Tinubu tells Nigerians. The rep who called Nigerian air a fraud asked me for bribe, Hadi Sirika says. Probe INEC instead of CBN, Labour Party tells President Tinubu. And 4 children missing in Colombian jungle after they survived plane crash that killed their mother are found alive after 40 days. Now, top of what's trending today, we have President Bola Tinubu, who spoke in a nationwide broadcast to commemorate Democracy Day on Monday, June 12, where he assures Nigerians that their sacrifices will not be in vain. He said in his own words, to the winner of June 12, democracy offers the best chance to fight to and eliminate poverty. 30 years ago, he, MKO Abiola, christened his campaign manifesto Farewell to Poverty because he was convinced that there is nothing divine about poverty. It is a man-made problem that can be eliminated with clearly thought out social and economic policies. It is for this reason that in my inauguration address on May 29, I gave effect to the decision taken by my predecessor in office to remove the fuel subsidy albatross and free up for collective use the much needed resources which had hitherto been pocketed by a few rich. He added, I admit that the decision will impose extra burden on the masses of our people. I feel your pain. This is one decision we must bear to save our country from going under and take our resources away from the stranglehold of a few unpatriotic elements. Painfully, I have asked you, my compatriot, to sacrifice a little more for the survival of our country. For your trust and belief in us, I assure you that your sacrifices shall not be in vain. The government I lead will repay you through massive investments in transports, infrastructure, education, regular power supply, healthcare, and other public utilities that will improve the quality of lives, he said. A netizen commented, I legit buy fuel like 8K for work every day, but you're sure that you feel our pain? Another person wrote, from the comments, I now know, really, that a lot of Nigerians don't have sense. You say you want Nigeria to be better. Now someone is implementing right methods to get there. You are complaining. Is it miracle that you really want? Someone added, that can only come from a father that listened to her children, or his children, I guess, in this case. Next on what's trending, we have former Minister of Aviation, Senator Hadi Sirika, who has accused the lawmaker who branded the launch of Nigerian Air as fraud of demanding 5% shares of the national carrier Air from him. Recall that during a hearing by the House of Representatives, the chairman of the House Committee on Aviation, Nonlim Naji, had declared the launch of Nigerian Air a fraud. He had picked holes in the project, criticizing the federal government for what he described as poor handling. Naji said after a careful evaluation of the matter, his committee was dissatisfied with the actions of Sirika. However, speaking on Arise TV on Sunday, June 11, 2023, Sirika said the lawmaker approached him and asked for 5% shares of the airline for him and his people. He said, on the issue of Honorable Naji, who called Nigerian Air launch a fraud, I will respond now. I will say exactly what I told him in private when we spoke. Honorable Naji asked me that I should give him 5% of Nigerian Air to carry him along with his people. And I said to him at that time, Honorable, a bidding process that has taken place and some people won. So I think that you should go to those people and ask for the 5%. A netizen asks, the nerve of Hadi Sirika, like the Nigerian Air isn't a fraud. I am miffed and mortified. A guy said, all this he said and you said should be happening within the custody of the EFCC. Where is the aeroplane or aeroplanes? Was it not confirmed by Ethiopian Air that you hired it to take pictures for the ground? Another guy wrote, so there was a bidding process for people to buy shares, yet the masses were not informed and given the opportunity to bid. Next on what's trending, we have Probe INEC instead of CBN, Labour Party tells President Tinubu. The Labour Party has faulted the suspension of Godwin Emefiele as the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. In a statement released by its spokesperson, Obiora Ifo, the party called on President Bola Tinubu to investigate the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and not the Apex Bank. The party argued that Emefiele's suspension was unconstitutional and in a way punitive. The statement said it is laughable to read that statement, as most Nigerians are already aware of the intention of the government. If indeed there is any government agency that should be investigated with this utmost urgency, should it not be the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and its chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu? The leadership of the Labour Party is disturbed by the decision of President Bola Tinubu to suspend the governor of the central bank, Godwin Emefiele, albeit unconstitutional, without seeking the permission of the National Assembly, and we insist that the action was not in good taste and sounds punitive, the party said. A netizen said the arrest of Emefiele was in order, but it shouldn't be him alone. He didn't do all he did alone. He had accomplices and cohorts. A guy wrote, if you are happy for the arrest or suspension of Emefiele, like and hit the follow button. Someone added, as it stands, make Labour Party rest, please. He is doing everything Obi intended to do, and he is doing them with immediate effect. So Obi should sit down, watch, and wait for next term. Next on What's Trending, we have the Osun State Police Command, who has arrested an 18-year-old suspected robber, Ayomide, for attempted murder of a commercial motorcyclist. Now, speaking with Saturday Tribune, the suspect who stabbed the victim in the neck in order to steal his motorcycle disclosed that he had begun a 7-day fasting and prayer to seek God's forgiveness when he was arrested. Briefing newsmen at the weekend, spokesperson of the command, SP Yemisi Okpalola, said that the injured motorcyclist reported at Ire police station that Ayomide flagged him down at Eyinade area and asked to be taken to Rainbow area in Ire. The Okada rider told the police that while he was on the way, the passenger suddenly stabbed him deeply with a screwdriver on the neck and made efforts to dispossess his of the Bajaj motorcycle. He added that as he was bleeding, he struggled with the suspect and raised an alarm which caught the attention of an oncoming motorcyclist. This, he said, made the suspect flee to avoid being caught. The victim said that he was taken to the hospital for prompt medical attention by his rescuer, who also assured him that the attacker would not go scot-free. SP Okpalola stated that immediately the case was transferred to the anti-kidnapping unit, the detectives applied available investigation mechanism and the suspect was arrested. A netizen commented, God has forgiven you, my dear, but justice will take its course. Someone said he is praying and fasting for forgiveness because he didn't get away with the act. A lady wrote, the government really needs to step in and start helping with our youth and teenagers. Many didn't want to commit crime, but the situation and society we have found ourselves is not helping. Now let's take a short break, and when we come back, you will see what a woman did to get authorities and Nigerians angry. Stay tuned. Welcome back. It's Newsfeed. A woman identified as Rukayat Oderinde has been apprehended by the Lagos Waste Management Authority, LOMA enforcement team, and sentenced to 144 hours of community service for illegally emptying her waste bin into a drainage channel. The arrested woman was caught on camera while disposing of her household waste directly into the drainage channel, an act strictly prohibited under existing waste management regulations in the state, as they pose serious threat to the overall cleanliness and functionality of the drainage system. Responding to this, the managing director, CEO of LAMA, Ibrahim Odumboni, said that the improper waste disposal, particularly through drainage channels, could lead to clogged drains, which in turn caused flooding during heavy rains, adding that this not only disrupted daily life but also jeopardized the safety and health of the community. The environmental offender is expected to commence her 8 hours per day community service from Ahmadiyya to Salolo route for the 18 days cleaning the environment. Odumboni reminded residents about the need to engage proper methods of waste disposal and the potential consequences of non-compliance, urging them to use designated waste bins and containers for their household waste. A netizen wrote, imagine how many of that drum she has emptied into the drainage in the past weeks and how much flood it has caused as a result of blockage. Now imagine how many people she and her likes have rendered homeless because flood waters destroy their houses owing to such acts. Someone said she should also pay a fine. Later, you people will complain about the government. A better Nigeria starts with you and I. And a lady added, the only way I support this country is that I don't litter the floor. No matter where I am and I buy pure water, I will sure take the nylon home. That is my little way of supporting my dear country. Next on What's Trending, we have Ekiti-based chef who is trying to break Chef Hilda Bassi's unofficial Guinness World Record for longest cooking tons of gas to pick beans. Now, Chef Dami, who has already cooked for 20 hours, turned off her gas to pick beans before going offline last night. A cookathon is currently ongoing in Oye, Ekiti State. One Chef Dami is trying to break Chef Hilda Bassi's unofficial 100-hour record in the longest cooking category of the Guinness World Record to 120 hours. Now, cookathon is a combination of two words, cook and marathon, which means any individual attempting to do so will have to do so alone, as well as do it for a number of times, which can be hours or days, whereby the time is usually measured in hours to either match up with a record or break one. Cookathon is a cooking competition for chefs around the globe in an attempt to break a world record of hours of cooking. A netizen said, there is nothing like envy or jealousy or wrong timing here. She's a Nigerian and it's very okay for her to be ambitious. The same Hilda Bassi the whole Nigeria was rooting for is the same person charging people 25k to be met physically. Yes, it's very okay for another woman to be ambitious and we should all support her regardless of her not being famous or popular. She is Nigerian and Guinness World Record hasn't certified Hilda yet. So yes, please, other women can try. A lady commented, we are happy for her, but this is such a wrong timing. Wisdom is profitable. She should have been wise enough to allow her predecessor shine before she comes to the limelight. This is such a bad timing for her PR. Another lady said, if she can let her do it, it must not end with Hilda. Someone else has to try it. I am rooting for you, Chef Damilola. Next on What's Trending, we have 4 children who were missing in a Colombian jungle after they survived a plane crash have all been found alive after 40 days, according to the country's president. President Gustavo Petro announced that the 4 siblings who disappeared after a plane they were on, went down in the Amazon rainforest had survived their ordeal and were receiving medical treatment. The president said the youngsters who were found alone are an example of survival and predicted their saga will remain in history. The siblings, 13-year-old Leslie Jacobombe Mokute, 9-year-old Solène Jacobombe Mokute, 4-year-old Tienoriel Ronoke Mokute, and 11-month-old Christine Neriman Renoko Mokute were traveling in a Cessna 206 plane when it crashed on 1st May near the Guaviare province. Their mother, Magdalene Mokute, the plane's pilot, died in the accident, but the children were nowhere to be found, according to the Colombian Air Force. Days into the initial search, Mr. Pedro announced that the minors had been located and were in good health. But hours later, he clarified that the Air Force and indigenous communities has established contact with the children, but that their location remained unknown. A netizen wrote, wow, God kept them. Can't imagine how scared they have been. A lady said, including an 11-month-old child, God, you're indeed awesome. And another lady said, praise God, I actually prayed that they were found. Lastly, onto a funny video of a situation that transpired between a bridesmaid and a groomsman at a wedding. Take a look.
What do you want him to do for you?
Spoil me with money like it.
Spoil you with money!
I never seen your time before.
What do you want your friend to do for you?
I want her to give me all the money I gave her.
Jesus is Lord! You say they're wise. You gotta trust man, Adam.
She didn't expect his comeback. And that is all on Newsview today on Trust TV. Follow us and subscribe to all our social media platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Bye.